This is English shorthand dictation number 203 and the dictation speed is 140 words per minute. Ready? Start. A petition has been filed in the Delhi High Court seeking its intervention in the matter of the election of the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha has not yet elected its Deputy Speaker. This appears to be the first such petition before a court of law on a matter exclusively within the domain of the Lok Sabha. One cannot resist the temptation of taking the position that since the election of the Deputy Speaker is to be done exclusively by the members in the House, the court's intervention is not permissible. But on closer scrutiny, the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, though done by the House, is as per the mandate of the Constitution. It is not a routine government business of the House decided by the Speaker in consultation with the Leader of the House as indicated in Rule 25 of the House Rules. Article 93 of the Constitution mandates that the House shall elect a Speaker and Deputy Speaker after the constitution of a new House or after a vacancy arises in either of these offices. The present Lok Sabha was constituted on 24th May 2019. On June 19, the Speaker was elected. But even after 2 years and 4 months, a Deputy Speaker has not been elected. The normal practice has been to elect a Deputy Speaker the day after the Speaker's election. In the 70-year-long history of independent India's Parliament, the election of the Deputy Speaker has never been delayed for as long as 28 months. The Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha and the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha are referred to as officers of Parliament in our Constitution. They are elected by the respective houses. Their duties have been defined in the Constitution. The Deputy Speaker performs the duties of the Speaker when the office of the Speaker is vacant. He also acts as the Speaker when the Speaker is absent from any sitting of the House. When the Deputy Speaker performs the duties of the Speaker, he has all the powers and responsibilities of the latter. Similarly, when the Deputy Speaker acts as Speaker in the House, he assumes all the powers of the Speaker in the matter of regulating the proceedings of the House. His rulings in the House have the same status as those of the Speaker, and the Speaker cannot sit in appeal over his rulings. The Constitution recognizes the importance of the office of the Deputy Speaker. Therefore, the House cannot treat it as a post of no importance or redundant. The office of the Deputy Speaker had been an essential part of the Central Legislative Assembly from 1921 onwards. Even in the Constituent Assembly, a Deputy President was considered essential. It is a moot point whether the issue of non-election of the Deputy Speaker can be judicially reviewed. If it is judicially reviewable, the court may have to issue a direction to the House to elect the Deputy Speaker. But the procedure laid down in Rule 8 of the Lok Sabha's Rules of Procedure casts the entire responsibility for setting in motion the process for election of the Deputy Speaker on the Speaker. As per this rule, it is the Speaker who is to fix the date of election. In the case of election of Speaker, it is the President who fixes the date, and the President does so on the advice of the Union Council of Ministers. But the Speaker is not required to act on the advice of the Council of Ministers. He can independently fix the date of election of the Deputy Speaker. Thus, the whole question of election of Deputy Speaker hinges on whether the Speaker fixes a date. When this is the case, if the court intervenes, it can issue a direction to the Speaker to fix the date of election. As a matter of fact, the House is not absolutely helpless in the matter. It can adopt a resolution requesting the Speaker to fix the date for election of the Deputy Speaker. Such a resolution is admissible under the the rules 171 and 173 of the House. No party in the House can take a stand that the House does not need a deputy speaker because Article 93 mandates that the House shall elect a deputy speaker. No one can also say that the House may postpone it further because the above article uses the words as soon as may be. It has already been delayed inordinately. In any case, the Speaker can put an end to this controversy by fixing the date of election on his own. If he does so, the Constitution and the rules of the House will be on his side. That would be a graceful act rather than wait for the direction of the court. Elections can induce impractical and illogical promises by political parties like free electricity and health services, reduced water and power tariff, waivers for loan and bill defaulters, 80% jobs for locals, double income for farmers, and so on. However, a culture of competitive freebies currently being seen in Punjab can take this delusion to a whole new level, which is far removed from the budgetary and infrastructure realities of the state that struggles to pay salaries and faces protests by job seekers. The jury may be out on its capacity to alter electoral outcomes, but this culture of free offerings is not restricted to the border state of Punjab. The poll-bound states of Uttarakhand, Goa, Manipur, and Uttar Pradesh may also witness the same kind of culture, as pragmatism is laid to rest in favor of unrealistic projections in Punjab. Each party is trying to outdo the other in raising the quantum of free offerings to the common man. Even the thought of fiscal prudence or structural changes stands no chance in front of unworkable freebies that could quickly lose meaning in the absence of an attempt to address core issues. Each citizen, and not just voters, deserves better answers to persistent questions as to why a power surplus state fails miserably in supplying uninterrupted power and what accounts for the high tariff. Tamil Nadu is another state which has made a name for itself in the freebies culture to attract voters. It got a reality check from the Madras High Court ahead of the elections this April, when the High Court advised leaders to stop this and engage in promoting infrastructural facilities instead. This did not put an end to the party's flirtation, but the message was loud and clear that political parties must not reduce their duty to irresponsible populism. The issue of criminalization of politics has hit the headlines once again. The Supreme Court has expressed serious concern over the alleged nexus between bureaucrats, especially police officers, and politicians. The Chief Justice of India remarked that he was at one time thinking of creating standing committees headed by the Chief Justices of the High Courts to examine atrocities and complaints against bureaucrats, particularly police officers. In recent times, many senior police officers have come under the scanner for socializing with politicians in a questionable manner. Undoubtedly, such allegations against top police officers undermine people's faith in the rule of law and dent the credibility of the state system, given the fact that the political class stands accused of wrongdoing. In such cases, it would be unrealistic to expect governments to take corrective measures. Having identified the problem, it is incumbent upon the Supreme Court to issue necessary directions to rid India of this menace. The government has extended the midday meal scheme to students of pre-primary classes. The midday meal scheme initiative was launched in 1995 with the aim of providing at least one nutritional meal every day to children studying in primary classes in government schools and government-aided schools across India. The larger objective was to improve enrollment and attendance in these institutions. Later, the upper primary classes were were also brought under its ambit. Over the years, the scheme has often been in the news for wrong reasons like poor quality of food, violation of the menu guidelines, shortage of cooks, theft of food grains, and so on. In December 2018, the Supreme Court had imposed fines on some states for not properly monitoring the implementation of the scheme.